I wasn't dodging you, man. With me, the Mad Trucker, and this is the Morning Drive Live, where we'll be talking about, we'll have conversations about my content, about topics that affect everybody, about pretty much what's going on. And if you'd like to participate, this live is welcome to all who would like to attend on the condition that you first read my channel description. And if it's something that you're still interested in, follow directions by coming back and greeting everybody peacefully in the comment section first. If you want to make a comment, ask a question, statement. And the working definition of a conversation for the purposes of this live shall not deviate. And it is this: a conversation that's truthful and honest, questions and answers using logic to come up with solutions to problems. Now, with that being said, welcome. I'm the Mad Trucker. And I'll be live as long as it takes for me to get to the homestead, or as long as people would like to have conversations about different various topics. I want to let you all know before we begin that today is a special day. It's a special day because there were people that were breathing yesterday that are not breathing today. And throughout the annals of time and history, there has never, ever, 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 ever been a day like today. And the Mad Trucker don't tell people what to do. I just share what works. So if you can, if you can help somebody in a positive and constructive fashion, and it's no cheese off your bread or skin off your back, regardless of their politics, religion, it doesn't matter. Help that person. I'm not talking about giving money. That could be help, but I'm talking about helping them in a positive and constructive manner. You can give a crack fiend $20, they're going to smoke it up. And that might be their last hit. Is that positive and constructive? See? But if you can help somebody in a positive and constructive fashion, then help that person. If you can't, or if you don't want to, simply leave that person alone. That works. That's what humanity don't like to do. So, with that being said, let's begin. Safety first. There's a lot going on, y'all. So much going on, I can't pick a topic. And if you'd like to participate, just greet everybody peacefully first, and I'll answer your question. The live is formatted in that manner, and it's not personal if I don't address you, but greeting people peacefully is beneath you, or it's not your standard. The live is not for you. Now, watching is always free, and watching is always free. You don't have to type anything to watch. But if you'd like to ask me a question, just simply greet everybody peacefully. Bare minimum 2 letters, H and I. Yeah, H and I. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now I'm going to greet you peacefully as well. To R Seaman, Demerkin 98. Shalom. That means peace be unto you. Thank you for joining the live. It's Kaylin. Shalom. Thank you for joining the live. Prayers for safety. Shalom. Thank you for joining the live. I appreciate your presence. Y'all can be anywhere else watching anybody that y'all watching this guy. So I appreciate you. There's a lot going on that people are oblivious to. Well, they play like they're oblivious to. You don't solve problems by burying your head in the sand. You, the viewer, you watching this right now, you have to make a decision in your life one day. Do you want to be a product of your environment, or do you want your environment to be a product of you? And it's Caitlin asks a question, and I'm pulling into the gas station. I'm gonna go ahead and catch up with the comments because, like I said, safety first. So I haven't forgotten you. It's Caitlin. Just give me a moment, and I will catch up with it. Says, how do you feel about ICE? Okay, feelings change. Feelings change, but truth doesn't. And the truth is, ICE is a mercenary pay for profit. They're mercenaries. They operate outside of the Constitution. number one. Number two, they're Donald Trump's personal Gestapo. Now, that's not what I feel about ICE, but that's what I know about ICE. Now, I try not to use colorful metaphors, you know, them four-letter words and stuff. Yeah. If I was to tell you how I feel about ICE, I would have to articulate myself using that semantic. And I'm trying to keep it PG. Yeah, but that's what it is. They deported your friend. Yeah. And you know something? Let that be the topic for today. Thank you, Ms. Caitlin. We can talk about ICE. You know, there was a story where they're deporting African Americans. ICE. They're accosting African Americans, saying that they're Haitian. Saying that they're Haitian to the information that I'm putting out in my videos, regardless if you don't like the delivery. And as Caitlin says, you hate ICE so much. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Like I said, Mad Trucker don't tell people what to do, but I'm gonna tell you what works. You know, hate is a strong emotion. It'll eat you up inside if you hate too much. You'll destroy yourself if you hate too much. So I suggest the following. It's just a suggestion. I ain't telling you what to do, It's Caitlin. Don't hate them. Just strongly dislike the MFers. See, I didn't use an expletive, but you got it right. You don't have to hate them. Just strongly dislike them. Yeah. Because they gonna get theirs in the end. I know of one that guaranteed it. Well, see, that's what I mean about hate. That's what I mean about hate. They took your friend, right? All things work for the good of the Most High, who love him and are called his purpose. I'm not pushing religion. Please don't tune off. I'm not pushing religion. That's a standard, right? They deported your friend for no reason. Matter of fact, if you know anybody that was deported by ICE, they deported them. They are deporting people for no other reason than white supremacy. That's why they're doing it. I'm not scared to say that. That's what this country was founded on. That's what it was based on. That's what it runs on. Not Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on racism. And racism is a pseudoscience that I don't practice. If I don't like somebody, it don't have nothing to do with the color of their skin, don't have nothing to do with their culture. It has to do with that person. That person is grimy as hell. I wouldn't piss on them if they was on fire. I'm not pushing religion. It's Caitlin. I don't know if you're a Christian, a Muslim, or if you're Jewish. I don't know. I'm just sharing what works for me. Okay. Our trespasses. Cuatro llamas. And people that don't admit that fact, people that don't hate somebody because they pop is Belizean. They'll hate somebody because they pop is Belizean. They'll hate somebody because they're a Muslim. They'll hate somebody because they're trying to go to no Klan meeting, convert nobody, and tell them what room when they were drafting out the Constitution of the United States, because I would have made an addition. That addition would have been, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I would have stood up and said, as long as it don't interfere with nobody else's. They should have put that in there, but they didn't. Because they're deporting people to make a certain orange tyrant, a certain orange fascist happy. And everybody that supports him, and everybody that's edging him to do those things, because it ain't just Trump by himself. This has been going on long before Donald Trump. Yeah, it's endgame right now. I'm old enough to live through it, seen it. I lived through the Reagan era, the crack era. You know, I was living in Chicago during the crack era when it first hit. I remember how crack destroyed communities, black communities in Chicago. I remember that firsthand. And before that, yeah, you know, before I was born, my parents, you know, yeah, they knew who some Black Panthers were. And my pops was between jobs, and the Black Panther Party, that program from the Black Panthers. And, you know, they don't want that no more. And that's tragic. Because people that claim to be Christians, There's nothing that the Republican Party has done or is doing in place of emotion. It's an observational statement based upon my life experiences on this planet. And I've been on this planet half of a century, over half a century. If there's cap in what I'm saying, I'd like to know. Well, I'm going to pause this live for a moment. I'm going to try to get some music playing for your entertainment pleasure while I go into the store and get some petroleum distillate. If it'll work. I'm not sure if it'll work or not, but we'll see. I will return shortly. Thanks for watching. Wow, I'm back. No viewers. That's okay. Like I said, likes are appreciated, but they're not required. Subs are appreciated, but they're not required. If you share the video, if you share the live, that's appreciated, but not required. I'm not monetized. I don't get paid from YouTube. I don't get paid from TikTok. I'm on TikTok, same name. I don't get paid from any of that. I do social media for the channel description. Strictly, solely for the channel description. That's why you looking at my face right now. Because we live in a world full of well-dressed lies. It is easier to hold on to a well-dressed lie than let it go for the butt-naked truth. But there's a standard, there's a higher standard that people claim to follow, but they don't. That says that if you save your life, you will surely lose it. But if you lose your life for the Savior's sake, for truth's sake, because he said, I am the truth, the way, and the life. If you lose your life for his name, his shem, his authority's sake, you'll surely save it. That's what I made in my life. You know, if I win 300, if I'm broke to the day I die, praise the Most High. If I'm a multi-billionaire before I die, praise the Most High. But regardless of what happens in my life, that's what works for me. I'm gonna give all praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High Yah, because he didn't have to wake me up this morning. He didn't have to sustain me through the night. He could have called in the lease on his flesh. They could be putting me in a box right now. And that goes for you too if you're watching this now at a later date. And we should never take the day for granted. We should never take it as a given that, okay, tomorrow's gonna come. Because there's no guarantee. So just get ready for whatever happens. If the world ends in 2 seconds, praise the Most High. If it don't end for another 300 million years, praise the Most High. That works for me. That works for me. Whether people think I'm playing, whether they like it, love it, or well, I'm flawed. My righteousness is as filthy rags, but that doesn't mean there's no righteousness in it. I'm trekking towards a higher standard that I wished somebody would have instilled in me when I was a youth. And because the scripture and Christ said that's exactly what people gonna do to you if you try to subscribe to the way that he walked and told us to live. When the world hates you, remember they hated me first. Yeshua, the one they called, he said that. And what he called him, Yeshua or Jesus, are the words different? Do they mean something different? No, they mean the same. You have to apply them in your life. Taste how good Yahweh is. Taste how good the Most High is. That's all. That works. It works. I'm a living witness. They told my wife she didn't have kids before we got married. We got 2 now. Now tell me there isn't an Elohim, there isn't a God that sits upon down low. I beg to differ. Yeah. He's the creator of everything seen and unseen, known and unknown. He's the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Israel, and Ishmael. He is all-knowing. He exists inside and outside of time. Do you really want to risk your ever-loving soul trying to piss him off? Ask yourself that question. Fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. And fools despise wisdom for vanity. That's America. I got to put this gas cap on. I'll return shortly. And I'm back. Now let's get to the homestead. And I appreciate you all bearing with me. And today's topic was brought to us today by It's Caitlin. And the topic for today is ICE. What do you think of ICE? You, the viewer, what do you think of ICE? What they're doing right now in this country? Is it Christ-like what these ICE agents are doing? Is it something that Christ would say, yeah, I'm all for that? If you're Muslim, Islam, is that something he would approve of? If you're Christian, Jesus, is that something that he would approve of? If you Hebrew, Yeshua, is that something that he would approve of? ICE and what they're doing? Think he approves of that? You think that if you're following him, he wants you to put on that uniform and do unto others what they don't want people doing to them? You, whoever's watching. Does that make sense? I was gonna say kingdom sense, but that don't even make common sense. But when you're a commoner, you're subject to the jurisdiction of your king. If Trump is your king, you ain't gonna have no problem with ICE. But Trump ain't my king. My king gave up the ghost before I was born. That's my king. He's the king of kings, Lord of lords. No man goes into the Father unless through him. Everybody don't want to see the Father. The adversary's trick is to get you to believe that whatever you've done so bad, so evil, so wicked, that you can't be forgiven. That's why I was telling you this, Caitlin. You know, you say you can never forgive ICE. You better learn how to. Because if you can't forgive them, how can you expect to be forgiven? If you can't forgive someone, how can you expect to be forgiven? I'm not saying run up to your enemies and hug, you know, I'm not saying all that. What I'm saying is forgiveness might be different, but it's the same list. And everybody got one. If you don't have one, I want you to tell me you don't in the comment section. I beg to differ. I'm going to tell you the title of my list before I'll tell you, you know, the names on it. Okay. The title of my list is people I would paper cut to death, doused with alcohol in front of Christ on Judgment Day. That's the title of my list. Now, I subscribe to that high standard. And I know if I have any names on that list, it's going to cut me out of the kingdom. If I can't, it's going to cut me out of the kingdom. And ain't nobody walking down here worth that. Not ICE, not Trump, not JD Vance, not these Republicans. They're not worth it. I'm going to give up the kingdom for these maggots? Never that. I forgive all of them. In other words, you give them before they do the action. In other words, you know they're a bunch of racists. They don't need to be mad at them. The beast gonna beast. And the adversaries for the beast, you know, they're gonna be adversaries. You know, I don't trust anybody that says, let's play devil's advocate, because I don't advocate for no devil. Now, people might say, oh, you play semantics, Mad Trucker. You play semantics. No, I don't play semantics. You see, intelligent people clarify semantics for the use in conversations to solve problems. A conversation, by definition, is semantics. You see how long they gaslight people and keep them holding on to well-dressed lies? Oh, that's just semantics. Okay, well, if it's semantics, let's discuss the semantics that I use. Which word did you not comprehend? Which one slid off? I'll tell you what I think that word means. You tell me what you think that word means. And now we have some clarity for the purposes of a conversation. And we both walk away winners and having a deeper understanding and comprehension of one another. And that's one thing that the powers that be don't want to happen. But I don't care what the powers that be want. The powers that be, I'm talking about the government. The government. I could care less. Oh, you hate the government. No, I don't hate the government. There's nobody moving, nobody get hurt. I don't hate them. Well, by definition, I do. I can't tell that lie. I do hate them. But I'm going to be more specific when I say that. You see, love is an action. Hate is inaction. I'm not looking for the government. I ain't thinking about this government. And this government always thinking about people that look like me. But I ain't thinking about them. You know? And it's dumb. People need to wake up, you know, but you can't make them. And I'm not trying to make nobody do nothing. That's why I always say, look, you know, the live is welcome to all. I'm not pushing what I believe on anybody. I'm just sharing what works. For me, it works for me. If I'm wrong, then so be it. That's on me. But it works. I've been in situations where I can't explain how I got out of these situations. It had to be a high power. It had to be the most high. When I was in the Army, when I drove 18-wheeler for 20 years, when I was in college, you know, things we don't have time to get into. And I'm like, that's a miracle. Why I didn't and they did? Why am I still here and they ain't? A fraction of a second, that would have been me. I'm here and they ain't. I just share what works, man. And that's the problem. That's why religion falls flat. You can't make your children just like you. If you have children, you want your children to be just like you, I'm letting you know you're making a big mistake. Because your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life, longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not for you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. And their souls dwell in a place of tomorrow that you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. Try to be like him. Don't make them just like you. But I'm not telling you what to do. That's why Christ said we must be like the ones. We're supposed to be like these children. We ain't supposed to be making these children just like us. We got parents that, and this country always makes that claim that they care about children. No, they don't. They care about children enough to put them to work. You know, making money for the state in a jail cell, for example. Or to warp their minds to keep a certain wax in production for the generations that come after them. I'm at the homestead. I want to say thank you, this rising, for watching. And I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. My peace comes from the scripture. It comes from the word of Yahweh. It comes from the little things that he shows me on a regular basis that people take for granted. They don't even think about. Those are the things that give me peace. And hey, no one can steal my peace. I have to give it to them. Right? No one can steal your peace. You have to give them your peace. It's your free will decision. If you say somebody made me mad, or even if you say somebody made me happy, right? Truth made me all of that. And I know that if I know the truth makes me free. Regardless of how I feel. Because happiness, anger, those are feelings. Feelings don't trump the critical truth about anything. They're just how you feel. Your feelings are valid, whatever you feel. If you happy that ICE is doing what they doing, yeah, you valid for feeling that way. If you pissed off and you hate them and you want to slice their neck, you valid for feeling that way. You're valid for feeling that way. But it's not going to change the facts about ICE. Now discernment kicks in, right? Because if somebody is rooting on what ICE is doing, it says a lot about that person. It says that person, they might say they subscribe to the Bible, but they don't. They might claim to be a Christian, but their actions don't match up with their enthusiasm. See, their feelings, because their feelings aren't based on facts. That's why half of the truth is a whole lie. Because if you don't have all the facts, you're going off a half truth. The majority of my life, I called on Jesus Christ. And when I was in my 30s, I'm 50 now. I was in my mid-late 30s. I found out that wasn't his name. And what turned me away from the Bible were the Christians in my family. Yeah, you know, when I was 13, I found out that that white boy on that wall wasn't Jesus. And there was a show called Good Times, right? Where Michael painted Jesus as Ned the Wino. It was a big controversy. And Michael read it out the Bible. I said, man, let me get my Bible and read it. And sure enough, that was the description. You know, I had my auntie slap me in the face, said, boy, you don't never question the Lord. When I told her, I said, auntie, how come you got that white man hanging up in your house? You know that ain't what he looked like. She pulled me outside, slapped me, and told me don't question the Lord. But I still called on Jesus for a long time after that. Because I was calling on Jesus, but Yahweh was showing up. I didn't know it. I had to study to be approved. And it's scary, man. Because heavy is the head that wears the crown. With great power comes great responsibility. With knowledge comes wisdom. Because once you have the knowledge, you have a choice to make. Do you want to roll with the truth? Do you want to roll with a well-dressed lie? You know, when I say the truth, I'm talking about the whole truth. The thing that nobody knows. Nobody knows the whole truth. But the whole truth coming back to judge the living and the dead. The whole truth coming back to do that. Yeah. Well, if nobody has anything else, I would like to say, may the Most High bless and keep you. May his kindness be gracious unto you. May the Most High smile on you and give you shalom. That means peace be unto you. I'm the Mad Trucker. Thanks for watching. Shalom.